Thank you very much. Morning. Throughout the week, I've gotten cards and telephone calls from many of you offering your condolences for the loss of my family, and I appreciate that. It was a great deal of comfort as we went through this difficult time. Every day, you pick up the newspaper and you read about some tragedy that's taken place, and then one day you wake up and it has hit home. It's in your family. And we all go through that. We all lose loved ones, and it's very difficult. And I have not come up with a solution as to how to go through the grieving process in a positive, upbeat way. But it is a process, and I will keep you informed as I go along. I'd like to say hi to the people out there in the internet land watching this on your computer. It's good to have you with us today. And I think in the past you waved back at me. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I actually run into people at the drugstore someplace that say, when you do that, I do wave back. And I feel that the people can see it. Carla Sue, where's Doc at? Fishing in Alaska. That's a good excuse. Let me see, who else is in here today? Well, this is the fourth part of an 8-part series called Loving What Is, and the primary objective of it is to create more harmony in our lives. The nature of the universe is one of harmony. There's hundreds of billions of stars and planets racing through the cosmos at very, very high speeds, and they all seem to be in balance. They all seem to be coordinated. There seems to be a real sense of harmony as far out as we can see. Each and every one of us being a creation of the universe, it would be safe to say that our nature is one of harmony. And when we're in harmony with what is, we experience what we call well-being. When we're not in harmony with what is, when we're in disharmony with anything or anybody, we experience what we call ill-feeling. So the objective on the spiritual path for all of us is to create a greater sense of harmony in our life, decrease the ill-feeling in our life, and live a more comfortable and fulfilling life. Now, in addition to the nature of the universe and the nature of human beings, we each have an individual nature. We have preferences. We have desires. We have things that we want in our lives. We have things that we don't want. And each and every one of us is different in that regard. We have preferences. So we prefer to experience certain things. We prefer to have relationships with certain kind of people. We prefer to eat certain foods, wear certain clothes, whatever. But when our preferences are met, when our desires are met, when our needs are met, and then we have, once again, this sense of well-being. So the question is, what about all those people in our lives that don't necessarily fill our preference for good company? People that just don't seem to satisfy or fulfill us when it comes to what we want out of life. And we all have them. That's part of the great diversity of the world. There are people that you like to be around. There's people you don't like to be around. And for those who you don't like to be around, there's other people that like to be around them. So it's okay to have preferences. It's okay to have different levels of engagement. When Jesus said, love your enemies, he wasn't necessarily talking about all the people in the world, but he was talking about the thoughts in your head. The enemies, the thoughts in your head, are those that are disharmonious with what is. In the 6th chapter of Matthew, he says, you need to be perfect in all things, just as God in heaven is perfect in all things. Well, perfect. Who is perfect? Nobody that has been on this planet can reach that level that we deem to be perfect. But the perfect word was actually translated from a Greek word which meant be at peace with all things. In other words, he's saying you need to be at peace with all things, just as God in heaven is at peace with all things. Just as God, the spirit of the universe, the energy of the universe, that which permeates you and me, which is the essence of our being, which fills this room, is at peace with all things. God isn't a revengeful God, isn't a punishing God, isn't a judgmental God. God just is the energy of the universe that is at peace with all things. So our objective, once again, is to create the sense of harmony with all things in our lives and all people in our lives. They did a study at Brigham Young University on human behavior, and they did 300,000 people were involved in 148 different studies in 50 different countries. And what they discovered is that we are social creatures, that we need relationships. It's a basic need, way beyond our conscious needs. We need to be in relationships with other people. And also from this research, they came to determine that positive, supportive relationships actually increase not only our sense of well-being, but our mental, our emotional, and our physical health. And relationships that are conflictive and that have a great deal of negativity to them decrease our mental, emotional, and physical health. So it's not only fulfillment in our lives to create a sense of harmony with all people, it also adds to our overall health. So when it comes to people in our lives that are difficult, there is a spiritual principle that says, it's called point of harmony, and it states that there is a point of harmony for everything and everybody in your life. Now let me repeat that. There is a point of harmony that you can establish for everybody and everything in your life. And two things come into play when establishing that harmony. The first is, as it was said here earlier, when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. So we can just make a slight shift in how we see other people. And the other is positioning. The point of harmony is putting things in our lives at a place where we can be in harmony with them. I have my brother who's very, very close to me. I love him dearly. He and I can get together, and our point of harmony is very up close. It's very intimate. It's very charged with emotional intensity. We love each other. At the same time, I have an uncle, and my relationship with him, if up close, is very disharmonious. So I have to put him out a way, which means that I have to limit my exposure to him and limit the intensity, the emotional intensity that I have with him. And that means sending him a Christmas card once a year. And that's it. But in doing that, I hope he's not watching this on the internet. In doing that, it creates a sense of harmony between myself and Uncle Theo. It's really Uncle Harry. So I'm covering all my bases here. But do you see what I mean? And that's not only for situations and circumstances in your life. Going to the opera. I don't particularly care for that. So I have to find the point of harmony between me and the opera. It might be once every 5 years where I go with a group of people that really enjoy it. And that's it. I'm in harmony with the opera. Now this theory, the point of harmony is that everything and everybody has a point in your life where you can be in harmony with them. And now what we're moving into is finding that point, and it's called the rutabaga theory. And this is a rutabaga. It's my rutabaga. And I want to tell you that when I was growing up, my grandmother went through the Depression. And there was a point when rutabagas were only fed to hogs because they were a cheap source of food. Well, during the Depression, when food got short, people started eating rutabagas. My grandmother, a German, going through that Depression, was a rutabaga fan. And growing up, when we would go to her house, there's always some sort of a rutabaga. There was rutabaga pie, there was rutabaga soup, there was baked rutabaga, there was boiled rutabaga, there was every kind of rutabaga you can think of, and every kind of rutabaga that you can think of I disliked. Now, my brother and sister, and they were fine with rutabagas, but for some reason, I just didn't have the taste for it. As a matter of fact, they gagged me. I could not stand it. I hate rutabagas if they're on my plate. And for 50 years, I hated rutabagas, and then all of a sudden, when I was introduced to the point of harmony, I discovered that all I have to do is look at a rutabaga in a different way. Instead of looking at it as a food product that's on my plate that I have to eat, let me look at it as a doorstop. Perfect. And so with my rutabaga, I use it as a doorstop, and it's very nice in that particular role, and I have no problem with it. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I am going to rid myself of this rutabaga. You can have, it's yours. Doorstop or no doorstop, I just need to free myself of it, circulate it. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because there are people in our lives that are like, for me, a rutabaga. They're just difficult to be around. Some people that I work with, some people that I live with in my apartment building, some people that I run into on social occasions, and for some reason they just don't meet the preferences that I have set for good company. I am somewhat introverted, so when I move into the company of somebody that's very loud and boisterous and intoxicated, you know, I don't feel so good in that comfortable or in that position. So I have to take that person and put them at a distance. And I can view them differently, like they're just a human being like me. They have their own preferences. They're living their life. That is great from a distance. And I can be in harmony with them. Now, do you see where we're going here? We're trying to get to the point where whatever it is in your life that ruffles your feathers, whatever it is in your life that has you miffed or has you miserable in any sense, it's just a matter of finding the position of how that fits in your life. Now, what I'm talking about is things that you have no control over. Things that you cannot change. You do not have the power to change. If there's something in your life that's making you miserable and you can change it, you can do that. But there's so many things in our lives that we get miffed, that we get miserable over, that we have no control over. I mean, life is what it is in many fashions. I know people that are miffed and miserable because of the weather. They don't like the way the weather is. Well, you can be mad and you can have bad feelings and you can run around and throw a temper tantrum, but the weather's not going to change because it is the way it is. I know people who get miffed and they are miserable when they get a parking ticket, or when they get a flat tire, or when the roof begins to leak. Now, does loving what is mean that we're going to love getting a parking ticket? Wow, I can't wait to get another one. Where's the parking meter that I can park in front of and not put money into it? And I get the parking ticket and I'm happy and I love it? Doesn't mean that at all. But it means if you get a parking ticket, it is what it is. And no amount of anger is going to take that parking ticket back. So you shift your focus from the parking ticket and love what is in your life that is lovable. And when doing this, we start to begin to discriminate against all those things that irritate us and agitate us that we don't have control over. We begin to make a determination right off the bat when we're not feeling good, when we're feeling angry. We begin to make a determination, do I have control over this or don't I? If I don't have control over it, I simply let it be and move on. If I do, I take action to change whatever it is. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, especially in light of what I said earlier about relationships, how we need relationships, that they fulfill something deep within us, that they improve our mental, emotional, and physical health. We need to interact with people, but we also need to understand that there's a certain kind of person that supports us, that makes us feel good, that gives us a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning and a sense of belonging. I think that's one of the reasons why this meeting every Sunday is so important. We all gather together. We are like-minded. We're searching for inspirational ideas and higher spiritual awareness, and so we feel good around each other. That is the key. That is very simply, that is the mission of Unity Temple in the Plaza. It's to create an environment that is uplifting to all people. It doesn't make any difference where you come from, who you are. If you come here and you don't leave feeling uplifted, don't come back, because it's not going to change. But for those of you who do feel uplifted and enjoy the experience, you continue to come back. And the other person can go down the street and listen to that dry as dust minister speaking down there, and still won't be uplifted, but he won't be angry at me. So anyway, this series is all about expanding the harmony in our lives and decreasing the disharmony. And we're finding tools on how to do that. The first tool is recognizing what we have control over and what we don't. If we don't have control over, it is what it is. We just let it be. The second thing is those things we do have control over, especially with people in our relationships. If somebody continually agitates us and irritates us, and it's even abusive in nature, emotionally abusive, you know, we don't have to take it. We don't have to struggle to really love that person and put ourselves through misery. We simply have to position them in our lives in a place where we can be in harmony with them. Now, all of this comes about as a result of the voice in our head, the critical voice that fires off when something doesn't happen our way. You know, it begins to carp, it begins to harp, it begins to groan and moan and complain and criticize about something or somebody that it doesn't like. Now, imagine how silly that is. You know, we live in a world of 7 billion people. It's the most dynamic, energetic, life-filled place that we know of. And yet we as an individual have the right, we think, to complain about somebody else that they're not right, or to complain about the weather because it's not right, or all those other things that we have no control over. The question is, why would we do that? Why would we intentionally make ourselves miserable when for every little miserable thing in our lives, we can simply shift our attention and there's an abundance of good things in our lives? So as we move into meditation, I want you to just stop and think a little bit about things in your life that just aren't settled right now. It might be a person, it might be a situation, it might be a circumstance of some sort that you're trying to deal with, a problem, a big challenge. And you ask yourself, do I have any control over what is going on? And if you do, ask yourself once again, what should I do about it? And the answer will come to you. You have that wisdom within you. If you don't, you just bless it. And if it's something you need to rearrange in your life to move it out from your immediate presence, you can do that. Life isn't a straight, narrow path. Life is a curved road. It has great mountains to climb and great valleys to go through. And it's not always easy. But we can make the path in a state of harmony that is much, much greater than what it is now. 85% of all our experience in life comes to us through our relationships with other people. Now that means that 85% of our anger, of our angst, of our irritation, of our jealousy comes to us through our relationships with other people. What if we could take that 85% of that anger, angst, and negativity and lower it to 30%? Less than half of what it is now. And then continue to lower it through practice until it didn't exist at all. Until we just were okay with what is. And that doesn't always mean happy. It's okay to get angry when there's something in your life that motivates you to change it. It's okay to be sad when you lose a loved one. All the emotions on the scale are okay. It's just being at peace with that as well, being in harmony with your full emotional range and knowing that your life is a movement from one end to the other of those emotions. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable. Take a deep breath. Slowly exhale. And first of all, know that you are loved. You are a lovable person. You're a beneficial presence to this world and to this earth. And you deserve self-love. We all need to move to a point where we can say, I am okay just the way I am. And we take that love that we have for self and we move it out to all those people in our world. And for a moment, think of a puzzle. And the middle piece in the puzzle is you. It's a big picture of you. All the little pieces that connect with your peace are those people that you love dearly, that you hold very close to you. Constant exposure and great emotional exchange is very comfortable. Then the next ring beyond that is people that are okay in your life. You like them. You can be around them. But there isn't the love that there is with the people that are directly connected to you. Then the next ring around that of puzzle pieces are those people that push your buttons, those people that irritate you. For some reason, there is just something about them that is very difficult for you to take at this point in your life. And so they're positioned out to the point where their negative influence doesn't reach you. You have limited exposure to them. And then beyond that, you put all the things and all the people that you don't want in your life. And that's okay. And you bless them. And you're in harmony with them, the life they're living. And so you end up with a circle with you in the middle and all these wonderful, beautiful pieces in their rightful places where the circle represents a true sense of harmony. And you have a true feeling of well-being. As we move into the silence, take a moment to recognize how blessed you are, to have all the beautiful things in your life, all the wonderful, loving people. You are blessed and you are the blessing. In the silence. We now begin to come back to this time and this place. And we do so with a feeling of joy in our heart, a state of peace in our minds, a strong sense of well-being, and a feeling of gratitude for the life we have, the person we are, in the world we live in. And so it is.
Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only believe. Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only, just only believe.